I was scratching my dog's ears when my brother Eric texted, "Thanks for letting me watch the dog last weekend." I froze. I hadn't asked Eric to watch my dog Baxter. When I called Eric immediately, he answered on the first ring, breathing hard. "Look, I can explain everything, but Eric, what did you do to my dog? Nothing bad, okay? Just trust me until next month, please." His voice cracked. That night, our sister Julia called from Seattle, her voice strained and urgent. "Have you noticed anything? What's different about Baxter?" My blood ran cold. "Julia, what do you know? Just don't leave him alone with Eric anymore. And whatever you do, don't check Eric's basement, not yet." 2 weeks passed. Baxter, who used to bolt at the sight of nail clippers, now sat perfectly still during grooming. This was the same dog who once ate through a door to escape bath time. When I mentioned it to Eric at dinner, he went rigid. "Dogs change," he said, not touching his food. I was doing laundry when I found one of Baxter's collars in my jacket pocket, not his regular collar, an expensive leather one with metal studs I'd never seen before. When I showed it to Eric, his face drained of color. "Oh, that's from the pet store. I was going to buy it as a gift, but forgot to put it back." He grabbed it from my hands and shoved it in his pocket. At 3 a.m., I heard Eric on the phone in the garage, voice muffled but urgent. I know, but I can't keep doing this. 7 is too many." A pause. "My brother will never forgive me when he finds out what I've been training them for. You know he won't." Baxter came back from Eric's with a small shaved patch on his inner thigh. "Vet needed to draw blood," Eric said, pulling his sleeve down to cover something on his wrist. Routine stuff. But when Baxter walked, there was a slight hesitation in his gait. He still did his clumsy full-body tail wag when he saw me, but now it looked limp, like joy cost him effort. Every time I needed to travel for work, Eric was suddenly available to watch Baxter. Every time I offered to pay him, he refused with increasing panic. "No money between family," he'd say, his hands shaking. The worst part came when Baxter stopped responding to his name for 3 seconds before turning, like he was listening for something else first. "Did you rename my dog?" I confronted Eric. "Why would you even think that?" He screamed, then immediately apologized. "I'm sorry, I'm just stressed about work stuff." Eric quit his accounting job, but somehow afforded a new truck. When I asked how, he muttered something about private consulting. His browser history showed hundreds of searches for dog behavioral modification and classical conditioning responses. One tab was still open: how to make them forget their original, before it cut off. I found peanut butter under Baxter's claws, not messy, applied in perfect grid patterns like someone had used a brush. Each paw had exactly 3 lines. My hands trembled as I drove to Eric's house at midnight, using the spare key. Woof, woof, woof. The basement was full of dogs, 7 of them, all sitting in perfect formation. Each had a number shaved into their fur. Men in suits were filing in and out with smirks plastered on their faces. Something felt very, very wrong. One man patted me on the shoulder and said, "You should try it with number 1," before walking out. I tried to blend in looking for Baxter, and eventually found him hiding under the table. His mouth was stretched wide with a tool I didn't recognize, and he immediately ran over to me. His eyes had tears that broke my heart in two. The more I looked around, the more rage boiled my blood. "Eric, where the F are you?" He immediately ran out, recognizing my voice. He tried to mumble something about a side hustle while escorting me out, but that wasn't good enough anymore. I needed answers. And when he realized I wasn't leaving, he finally caved. "I'm sorry, forgive me," he said, with tears streaming down his face. Bile rose in my throat. "Eric, what did you do?" He couldn't even look at me. It all happened so fast. Debt collectors came. I lost my job. They told me this was an easy way of earning money. I realized he wasn't going to tell me the truth himself, and looked around. In each room, dogs I didn't recognize were chained to the walls. And when I heard someone groaning through the drywall, my heart sank. I followed the sound, and there it was. A man around the same age as me, playing with a dog who lay on the floor, whimpering helplessly. Eric came up behind me. Full story on channel, link below.